time around will be even better.
And the new WBA featherweight champion of the world, Carl the Jackal Frampton.
It's a dream come true. Hopefully I don't have to buy a pain for the next 20 years.
Having my first loss, it was devastating. It was motivation to get the rematch.
The game plan was to hurt him and make sure that he respects me early on.
Frampton staggers Santa Cruz.
He constantly had this smile on his face, and you know, you're smiling in a boxing ring, you're not really happy.
I think what he did that surprised me was his footwork. He was just waiting for me to attack him so he could take a step back and counterpunch me.
Santa Cruz continues to lean forward, and it continues to pay dividends for Carl Frampton.
The first 5 or 6 rounds went pretty much to plan, and then I stood and had a bit of a fight with him after that.
They both are scoring in this electrifying exchange.
Both of us gave it all. We went toe-to-toe.
What a night to be ringside in Brooklyn.
This rematch is very important. We're going to be a lot smarter how we erase that loss.
I just want to show people that the first fight wasn't a fluke. I can go out and win it again.
January 28th, it's Frampton, Santa Cruz. It's presented by Premier Boxing Champions. Hey, interesting note, this will be the 6th Featherweight World Championship fight on Showtime in the past 12 months. Plus, Mikey Garcia makes a bid for his 3rd world title, the very dangerous champion, Dejan Zlaticanin. And it's a matchup of top 10 super lightweights. February 18th, 4-division world champion Adrian Broner squares off with Adrian Granados. And March 4th, Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman risked their world titles, undefeated records, and about to unify the WBA, WBC titles at 147 pounds. That fight will be presented by Premier Boxing Champions, and it'll be right back here at Barclays Center. By the way, Garcia Thurman formally announced coming next Wednesday. Joining me now is the former 4-division world champion, Adrian the Problem Broner. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Hey, listen, I heard that you were the one who found Gervonta Davis and actually told Floyd Mayweather you need to sign him. Is that correct?
Yes. You know, at the time I wasn't a promoter in a game, but you know I was trying to get started. But you know, yes, that's definitely
What'd you
true.
think about his performance?
Oh, it was great. You know, he's young. He's still growing in the game. You know, me and you was up here talking of some things he could have done different, but I'm very happy for him.
Now, before we get into your upcoming fight, listen, you've had a tumultuous, really, last 9 months coming off of your last fight here. You've had some legal problems. Then there was really some disturbing personal issues that kind of played out on social media, or threats of maybe hurting yourself. Mentally, how are you, and are those problems behind you?
Well, at the end of the day, you know, some days you wake up and you're not as happy, and some days you wake up and you're feeling good. But as of today, you know, I'm in a very positive and very good mind state, and I'm ready to take over my sport and do better for myself, not only for myself, but for the kids and my children and for everybody who look at me as a role model.
Listen, that's good to hear. How can you assure those Adrian Broner fans who are watching, because we've heard you say it before,
exactly,
that this time it's different?
I'm a lot older. I'm a lot more mature, and it's just time to wash my hands with a lot of the childish things I used to do. You know, it's time to grow up and be a man and be the role model and the icon that I am.
Now, because you said some of the childish things you used to do you just enjoy being like the villain of boxing? That image you try to portray, do you just enjoy doing that?
It's really not something that I portray. It's me at the end of the day. But, you know, as of right now, it's about being mature and growing. It's all about growth. And I think it's time for me to really step up to the plate and take over the sport of boxing.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your fight here. You're taking on Adrian Granados, and really it comes next month, February 18th on Showtime Championship Boxing. When he fought Amir Imam last November, Imam said he's going to be a tune-up fight for me. And then and I'm talking about Imam, ends up getting stopped on the ropes.
Exactly.
How do you see your fight with Granados playing out?
To be honest, I know personally, and I know from what type of fighter Granados is. You know, I know it's going to be a tough fight, but at the end of the day, every fight is tough. You know, as long as I'm well prepared and training camp is going great, and you know, it's going to be a great fight and it's going to be an entertaining fight, and I will be victorious.
Okay, give me a prediction here. The main event's coming up. Badou Jack, James DeGale. Who's going to win?
James DeGale, man. What can I say? I mean, he's a special fighter. You know, he has all the tools. He's flashy and flamboyant, just like myself. But Badou Jack, he's very disciplined and sound, and he can beat any fighter on any day. You know, I think Badou. I want Badou Jack to be victorious. You know, but I'm here to be a spectator.
You just flip-flopped them. You picked both of the guys.
I know. No, I gotta tell the truth.
Okay.
You know, this card tonight wasn't just no walkover for the co-main event or for the main event. You know, these are great fights, and that's why I'm here to support today.
Well, listen, I like this new road you're on. I know a lot of people do as well. We'll certainly see you next month, February 18th. Appreciate the time, okay?
All right, I appreciate you guys.
All right, coming up, it is our main event. And you know what? In our fighter meeting, James DeGale told me, unlike his last fight, he's totally focused and mentally switched on for this fight against Badou Jack. DeGale said his jab, speed, angles, movement will be the reason why he walked away as the unified champion at 168 pounds tonight. DeGale has won at every level, from Olympic gold to a world title. Well, he sat down with British boxing commentator Nick Howling to discuss what defines him.
We can talk about boxing, we talk about titles, your legacy, money, all that kind of stuff. But if there's one thing I know that means more to you than any of that, it's family. Why is family so important to you?
If it weren't for them, trust me, I wouldn't be here.
Why not?
Because they do, literally, I'm a baby, they do everything for me. from
Well, what about when you were younger and you said, I want to be a boxer? And a lot of parents would be saying, no, no son of mine is going to be getting in a boxing ring.
My mum and dad made me do it. They was pushing me towards it because I was so naughty and mischievous at school when I didn't like school. They need to push me into something else, and boxing was the one. I've had one job in my life because boxing's been my life. One job, and I was a plumber for about 9 months. I was an apprentice proper plumber, but that didn't last. I ended up getting sacked from there, and yeah, it's just crazy.
You won the gold medal for Great Britain in 2008 at Beijing.
I went to Beijing, 80-1 underdog. In my first fight, I was nervous. I wasn't confident to win the medal, and yeah, I was scared. I was feared. It was fear. Like, so and it brought out the best for me. And I come back from the biggest show on earth with that big shiny gold medal. So that was a dream. That was a dream come true. And yeah, I turned professional. I was a young, immature boy. I wasn't even a man. I was a boy. Everyone said I was no good. I was still like an amateur. He won't be a world champion. He won't make it.
They say James DeGale, very arrogant guy, and I say, I know James DeGale a little bit. He's actually not an arrogant guy at all. Are you misunderstood, do you think, your public persona?
I think so, a little bit, yeah. A lot of people say that. And I did used to run my mouth a bit, used to be a bit disrespectful. And I figured out, listen, sometimes it don't work that way. You shouldn't really do it that way. So I humbled myself, and I let my boxing do the talking in the ring. And now and then do a little bit of trash talking, because Olympic champion, then won a world title.
So, we're talking about a guy who's won amateur titles, Olympic gold medals, British title, Commonwealth title, European title, world title.
Just sometimes it feels like I don't get the recognition and the credit, but it's slowly coming, and all I've got to do is keep on proving people wrong.
Well, all I can say is, go get another one.
Thank you, Wicked.
Look after yourself.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, bro.
James DeGale, the IBF super middleweight champ. Here's the WBC super middleweight champ. Badou Jack says he's a better technical fighter, stronger, smarter in the ring than DeGale. Jack says the key for him, being active, being first with his punches in this fight, and taking DeGale's legs away with his thunderous body shots. This transplanted fighter from Sweden has had his career thrive since moving to Las Vegas.
Bend your legs a little bit.
Man, you don't play golf. You trying to coach me how to hit? Look how stiff he is.
Use the knees, baby. Just doing something fun in the middle of camp, just to see how good we are. It's really hard.
You done golf before.
Golfers, they are not. But for these fighters, outings like this are essential to unwind from their daily grind.
This is easy. This fight has been in the making for 7 months now, and been on a diet, been training really hard, so I can't wait.
He's feeling good today. Look at him.
While swinging a club may not be Badou Jack's forte, he's excelled in the ring at swinging his hands.
And there's a cracking right hand.
Without the fanfare of more flamboyant fighters, Jack has quietly and steadily ripped through the division. Now in his quest to become the best super middleweight in the world, who better to help than the best fighter of this era, Floyd Mayweather.
Once you get that off, you still got to do some light movements. Because you don't know when they're going to get back. I'm saying when you boom, boom, when you boom, 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 you can't be sitting up. Like say, when I get my shit off on him, I'm not going to just sit right there for him. Either I'm going to go this way, or I'm going to go this way, or I'm going to give him some type of movement. Don't be a target. Don't be a target. There you go. He look like he in the shade. Damn, he look good. I'm betting on Badou. If they say he's a 2-to-1, I'll show you guys my ticket. I'm betting 100,000 on Badou. Probably 200,000. Probably $500,000.
It doesn't bother me being the underdog. If I could be the underdog in all my fights, that'd be great.
The Ripper.
The Ripper, because I like to grip my body shots.
A moniker lending more to Jack's fighting style than his last name.
I kept that name since the amateurs.
Tonight, Jack fights to unify titles for just the 8th time in the division's history.
DeGale, he's very athletic. He's a natural fighter. He don't fight by the book. Very unorthodox. I got to take him out. James DeGale is a good fighter, but I believe I'm the better fighter. But me and him are the #1 and #2 guy. This is our legacy. Who's the top guy in the division? This is what you dream of. In the ring, we go on a war.
You saw there Badou Jack says he loves being the underdog. The winner of this main event walks away as the top dog at 168 pounds. The main event coming up, and I'll tell you, the Twitter traffic about this main event has been hot on social media. Some of boxing's biggest names tweeting about it. The WBC heavyweight champ Deontay Wilder tweeting about Badou Jack, James DeGale. Andy Lee, former middleweight champion there. For some reason, I'm giving DeGale the edge. Tyson Fury wishing James DeGale the edge. Of course, obviously rooting on his countryman. And then Daniel Jacobs, who's always been a staple here in New York. He says, listen here, out here on the left coast, but he still has his eyes on Brooklyn in this main event. Badou Jack, James DeGale, the WBC IBF super middleweight titles are at stake. Let's go back ringside. Here's Mo, Al, and Paulie with the call.
Thanks a lot, BC. An electric crowd here at Barclays Center in Brooklyn for this, just the 8th title unification fight in super middleweight history. Badou Jack making the 3rd defense of his title. James DeGale making the 3rd defense of his championship. Here once again is Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for the main event. It's champion versus champion for the Unified Super Middleweight Championship of the World. It's Jack versus DeGale.
Good focus, good concentration. Beautiful.
Work that jab, baby. Good.
I respect James DeGale. Well, come fight night, it's business.
There's a cracking right hand by Badou Jack.
This is a massive fight. If I'm not on my aim game, then I can lose.
Explosive from DeGale. Left hook upstairs. What a flurry here to finish things off.
It's my legacy.
He's hurt. And it's over.
The big cities, the big lights.
Oh, my down. DeGale caught him.
Road Warriors back. These are the ones I want.
This crowd is on its feet.
He's the real deal. He comes to America to fight the best.
There is another British invasion.
But let's do it, man. Let's unify that division. Let's see who the best is.
It is thunder and lightning in Barclays in Brooklyn.
You have two of the best coming together, lights, camera, action, New York City.
And first, making his way to the ring, the WBC champion of the world from Sweden, Badou Jack. Badou Jack.
The 33-year-old Badou Jack, who currently holds the WBC super middleweight crown. And Paulie, before we go any further, we were given some fake news. The youngest current American champion is now Gervonta Davis. We want to apologize to Kosei Tanaka, who at 21 is the minimum weight champion and the youngest champion in the sport. Badou Jack, though, putting on a bit of a show here as he enters the ring.
Yeah, and this is very much unlike Badou Jack. You know, he's usually the no-frills kind of guy, but I think he understands the magnitude and the spectrum of this event. It's the biggest fight of his career. It's a world championship unification, and he kind of wants to get into the show. You know, before this, he's always been the no-frills guy. He's always been the guy that kind of floated below the radar. And even skill-wise, he's never had anything to wow you. But little by little, this guy's steadily improved as he's made his way up the ladder, all the way to winning the world championship. And I'll tell you something else. Since this guy became a world champion, there are guys that get better and better even after they win the world title. As the level of his opposition has risen, the level of Badou Jack has risen as well. This guy's ready for a fight at this level tonight.
Started boxing at the age of 17, had 150 amateur fights, represented his father's native, the Gambia, in the same Olympics where his opponent tonight, James DeGale, won a gold medal. But Badou Jack, in his third title defense, looking to become a unified super middleweight champion tonight.
And now, here is the IBF champion of the world from England, James DeGale.
James DeGale says he was made for bright lights, a big city, and Al Bernstein, he comes in at, well, the best shape of his career. For the first time in his 8-year pro career, he went out and got a strength and conditioning coach, and not only did the coach help him physically, but also mentally. He says he will not be switching off tonight. Fatigue will not be a factor.
Yeah, you know, James DeGale is a vibrant personality. He is a flashy fighter in the ring, and he is one of 9 fighters from the UK to win the 168-pound title, including Carl Froch and perhaps the greatest of all 168-pounders, Joe Calzaghe. This young man feels like he can be a historic figure in UK boxing.
Has already made history, the first Olympic gold medalist from the UK to win a world championship. Anthony Joshua has followed in his footsteps, but here in Brooklyn, we are set for a rare occasion and something that we hope will become the norm and not the exception. Let's unify all the titles in the sport. All right, I'll take us through the numbers.
When we look at these numbers, they are remarkably similar. But what this doesn't tell, the part of the story this doesn't tell, are all the differences we've already talked about. The differences in personality, the differences in style and approach. And that will determine who wins this fight.
All right, so in front of this vociferous crowd, we are set for the main event here. Once again, the Hall of Fame pipes of Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Barclays Center here in Brooklyn, New York for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Mayweather Promotions, DeBella Entertainment, and Showtime, sponsored by Corona Extra, La Cerveza Más Fina. This unification bout is sanctioned by the WBC President Mauricio Suleiman, Supervisor Chuck Williams, the IBF President Daryl Peoples, Supervisor Lindsey Tucker, along with the New York State Athletic Commission. The interim chair is Ndidi Masi, and the executive director is Tony Giardina. Introducing our three judges, scoring from ringside, from Avon, Connecticut, Glenn Feldman. From West Nyack, New York, Julie Letterman. And from Rivervale, New Jersey, Steve Weisfeld. And our referee in charge of the action, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions, Arthur Mercanti. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the Unified Super Middleweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, it's showtime! Introducing to you first the WBC World Champion on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing camouflage trunks with gold trim, originally from Stockholm, Sweden, now fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada. His weight 167.25 pounds. His record stands at 20 wins, 1 loss and 2 draws, with 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, he is making the 3rd defense of his title. Please welcome the defending and reigning WBC Super Middleweight Champion of the World, introducing Badou Jack the Ripper. And his opponent across the ring, the IBF World Champion, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks with black and orange trim, fighting out of Harlesden in London by way of St. Albans, England. He weighed in at a trim and ready 166.5 pounds, and his record stands at 23 wins, 1 loss, with 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome the 2008 Olympic gold medalist, tonight also making the 3rd defense of his title. Here is the reigning IBF Super Middleweight Champion of the World, introducing James Chunky DeGale. Once again, a referee in charge. Now to give instructions, Arthur Mercanti.
Good evening, gentlemen. This is for the IBF WBC Super Middleweight Championship Unification. I expect you to obey the rules we went over earlier. Touch gloves. Good luck to the both of you.
So it's a little ditty about Jack and DeGale, 2 super middleweight champions about to set sail, looking to unify their 168-pound titles here at Brooklyn's Barclays Center. Referee is Arthur Mercanti. 12 rounds or less. Round 1 begins with Badou Jack in the camouflage and gold, James DeGale in the white with black and orange.
Jack, a typically slow starter. DeGale actually known as a fast starter. Let's see if Jack comes out a little bit more alert to the usually fast starts of DeGale. He's coming out jittery, feinting, already in rhythm.
Yeah, DeGale had knocked down Andre Durrell in the 2nd round. He landed 33 punches, averaged 33 punches in the first 3 rounds of his fight against Pute, according to show stats. So he gets the job done early.
And immediately Jack, the southpaw, attacking the body, known as Jack the Ripper, looking to terrorize another London native here in James DeGale.
James DeGale said flatly to us, I will not fight off the ropes. I will keep this in the middle of the ring.
Overhand left was blocked by Badou Jack, looking to pivot away from DeGale. Minute gone in the first.
Sharpest punch in Jack's arsenal is usually that straight right hand, and it tends to work against southpaws as DeGale lands his own straight left. Well, so a lot of that is going to depend on the foot positioning between the lefty and the righty here, as DeGale fighting out of the southpaw stance.
punch, and that combination scored for DeGale downstairs. The other two are blocked.
Sorry, Mauro. You know, Badou Jack, we know, is a great body puncher, but so is James DeGale, an underrated body puncher. They will both try and go downstairs early for different reasons.
Stop holding, man. Stop holding.
They both appeared on the same Showtime Championship boxing event in Washington, D.C. last year. Jack fighting to a majority draw over Lucien Boutte, which should have been a unanimous decision victory for Jack. Boutte testing positive for a banned substance after the fight. And DeGale, well, he successfully defended against Rogelio Medina, but he admitted it wasn't his best night.
See the different fundamental styles of both guys. DeGale, a little bit more athleticism. He's actually able to move around and throw punches as he's switching positions on Jack. Jack a little bit more set with his feet. He needs to probably be a little bit more planted, and he likes to throw some harder shots. Oh.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So Badou Jack, with that laser-like left hand from James DeGale, goes down for the third time in his career. And DeGale knocking Jack down here in round number 1.
I think he's all right. I think it was more of a timing shot as Jack was stepping in as DeGale was throwing in the left hand.
Was this, after it had been pretty close throughout, that left hand knocks Jack down. It was a legitimate knockdown. He was off balance. Jack had actually squared himself up a little bit, and that's why the left hand knocked him down. Actually, very nice punch by DeGale, who had been lunging in with that left hand.
Trying to step in. Clean knockdown. None of the feet were not tangled up or anything, as tends to happen sometimes with lefty-righties. Clean knockdown, and the punch posted.
Well, in round 2, Jack went down twice, courtesy of right hands in the opening round of his lone loss against Derek Edwards back in February of 2014, and is down for the third time in his career early in this title unification bout.
DeGale fights in such unorthodox ways, and we mentioned how he switches positions as he's thrown. Also, as a lefty, watch, he's actually moving to his own left. Usually the lefty wants to move to his own right. But DeGale finds the angles.
So far, the difference in this fight has been the hand speed of James DeGale. And DeGale was very clear that he thought that would be the difference, but clearly
movement and angles for DeGale. The body work and the pressure of Badou Jack.
Badou Jack sparred with Chad Dawson, former light heavyweight champion, a left-hander for this fight, so he got very good sparring.
So Jack trying to get to the body when they get inside close.
And that's something that DeGale does not want to do, is stay in front of Badou Jack, use the angles and movement. And
even though DeGale squares himself up often when he attacks on the inside, he finds ways not to get hit in that posture, because
he's taking these little side steps to the side. He's changing the angle a lot.
Another left hand by DeGale. Now moving in on the inside as we reach the midpoint of the second frame.
He finds weird ways to change the target. I mean, you have to readjust to that target, and as you're readjusting, he's throwing punches. See, Jack's going to have to find a way to close that gap once he gets to the body.
All 3 of those punches. And again missing with the jabs, and that right hand just glancing. Oh, there's a counter right hand by Jack that scored. Final minute of the second round. DeGale trying to work on the inside, using the elbow as well, and he's being admonished by the referee.
DeGale able to be busier because he's finding the more comfortable positions to throw the punches. So a lot of this fight is positioning of the feet here.
Final half minute of the round.
Jack is still having some good moments to the body here. He's landed some nice shots, but not as many as he would like.
Yeah, and he's got to keep believing in that for him to have success.
Agreed.
Not a lot of punches being scored cleanly, though, in the round. Light Heavyweight champion Lou Del Valle, now the head trainer for Badou Jack, while Jim McDonald's been the long-time chief second for James DeGale. And DeGale going over behind the guard with the right hand.
We have not seen DeGale switch yet in this fight, and normally he does it instinctively. And look, he almost did it there, but he told us, I'm a better defensive fighter as a lefty.
Circling to his right, though, which is into the power alley of Badou Jack.
I think it's almost surprised even Jack that DeGale circles to the opposite direction.
Yes,
He finds himself almost not able to get his hands off.
He didn't expect him to constantly move to his left the whole fight, into the right hand.
Yeah, usually a lefty doesn't go that way, that consistently at least.
Yes.
Jack's going to have to find a way to cut the ring off because DeGale's almost becoming predictable going in that direction.
A lot of those punches off the arms of Badou Jack.
There's DeGale turning right-handed for a second.
Yeah.
There's uppercut. Scores by Jack.
Both men have that punch, the uppercut. They're both very good at throwing it.
Now, there's Jack having DeGale momentarily on the ropes, but DeGale immediately...
I think Jack landing the right hand made DeGale switch back to lefty. Better defensively, right?
Yeah.
Oh, solid right hand, but DeGale absorbed it, closes the distance, firing off those combinations, but again, a lot of them not scoring, and Badou Jack just weathering the storm.
And Jack trying to invest in the body, the small moments he does get on the inside, and we'll see if this pays off dividends later, because DeGale likes to stay in motion, and it's how he's most effective. If Jack can get him to slow down, maybe he can change the momentum of these rounds.
DeGale now working from an orthodox stance.
Badou Jack was once not a great defensive fighter. His defense has improved dramatically.
Let go.
Left uppercut on the inside lands for Badou Jack.
Very close round here.
They're both. Now Jack went from southpaw to orthodox. 30 seconds left in the third round. Scheduled for 12 in this super middleweight title unification fight. And again, the speed may impress the crowd, but
the body shot by Jack.
Nothing really landed with any impact. That was the better shot of the exchange from Jack.
Jack's trying to land the thudding shots on the inside. DeGale's better off staying on the outside. At times, he's starting to stay on the inside a little bit too much. I mean, land some nice flashy combinations, but giving Jack the opportunity to sit down on some shots could wear him out later, and obviously, that's what Jack wants.
Come on in there, y'all. Help me there.
The bell in round number 4. Badou Jack telling us at the fighter meetings that he was going to utilize his jab, use his range, and be smart in there. He thinks that his skill set can take away any advantage that DeGale thinks he has. The quote was, timing kills speed.
We'll see. By the way, the Russ, who is referred to in the corner as Russ Amber, who is the cut man there, and is a Canadian. Yeah, I was about to say that. Your countryman and a very fine trainer and also broadcaster. And he had a word of advice.
There's Jack getting to the body on the inside again. If DeGale's going to languish on the inside, he's got to work, and then he's got to make those moments count and step out. Because if he just lays in there like that, it's going to be Jack who takes advantage of the moments inside, and that's where he wants to be to get those body shots off. Much less active round for James DeGale thus far.
There's a right uppercut on the inside by DeGale, utilizing his footwork. He honed his footwork actually as a dancer. He was in a theater school as a teenager before he was expelled, Al.
Yeah, his sister got him involved in it, who helps him along with his mom, the manager. And
very tight-knit family.
Yeah, it's a family affair. DeGale firing off the blistering hand speed, but Jack almost mocking him there, saying, okay, it's fast, but he didn't do anything with it as he pops the jab.
Jack's starting to walk DeGale down consistently, but it's hard to cut off the ring against a guy like DeGale because he gives you so many different looks. He changes stances constantly, so although he's walking him down, figuring out that movement is a lot more difficult than it seems. Although Jack is having more success this round landing these shots.
Yeah, Badou Jack content to just walk down James DeGale. DeGale swimming his way to the inside, but not landing any shots of consequence, and very even when it comes to total punches landed, guys.
Yeah, this fight's on to get real close.
And remember that knockdown in round 1 made round 1 likely a 10-8 round for DeGale, so could be a key factor.
Jack continues to target the body.
Every chance
he gets. Nice combination that lands by DeGale.
Saw the uppercut a moment ago from DeGale. That's a punch because that could be a power punch for him. He's not landing big power punches. That one could work for him.
Left hook lands for Badou Jack. Final 30 seconds of the fourth.
I think Jack's having his best round this far. Yes. He's landed some solid shots this round.
And showing good defense as well. Also now trying to utilize some footwork. Final 10 seconds of the fourth round.
So that's where DeGale should be doing a lot more of it. See, he changed the look on the outside, started pulling a little bit, and then stepped in. Instead of just stepping all the way in all the time.
Exiting that exchange.
The bell in round 5, Badou Jack, the first Swedish-born man to hold the championship since Armand Cranch in 2001. As Jack going on the attack on DeGale. Of course, the only other Swedish-born champion was Ingemar Johansson.
Thunder and lightning in that right hand.
So look at DeGale. A couple of steps this way, a couple of steps that way. He'll dip down, he'll stand back straight up. Very tough, very difficult to track him down. Change the pace of his steps, and he just did.
One of the remarkable stats of this fight, according to Showtime, is that DeGale has only landed 2 jabs in this match.
Lead left hand lands for DeGale, and a couple of lefts to the body as well. DeGale has dreamed of fighting in New York since he saw one of his heroes, Nassim Hamed, take on Kevin Kelly here in the Big Apple when he was just 10 years of age. Hamed, along with Carl Froch, the two compatriots who have unified championships here in America.
This is my first live boxing match I ever went to. I fought Kevin Kelly and Nassim Hamed.
DeGale has started to land the left hand a little better in this round. Badou Jack, though, very precise with his punches.
Opening up now.
And this one, if DeGale's going to stand still like that, he's got to at least change the look and dip down. And he did that only at the end of that combination. Jack was able to land some good shots.
Yeah, DeGale leaning in, but it's Badou Jack continues to attack the body. A minute and a half remaining in the 5th frame.
It's a good fight, guys. It's 2 solid professionals. Yep. World-class athletes.
1 and 2 looking to unify their titles at 168 pounds. There's an attack to the body by James DeGale. And now diversifying his attack, varying it. Body head.
Well, the combination
hook by Jack.
Yeah, oh my, good work on the inside. The combination punching for DeGale is absolutely essential. And Badou Jack, though.
I'll tell you something interesting about Badou Jack here, what he just did. He let DeGale punch himself. Every time DeGale goes one of those big combinations, he's got to take a step to the left or right to kind of catch his breath back. Jack's starting to realize that, and he's starting to close distance right after DeGale stops punching.
Jack had DeGale on the ropes momentarily. DeGale, for the most part, has done a good job of avoiding the ropes in this fight.
Good action between these two. Oh. I thought McKinney took one at the bell. Might be a 10-8 round. That's a clean knockdown, guys.
Badou Jack, who again did some very excellent work in the last round. His punching was very precise. This was early in the round.
It's getting to the point where it's difficult to start to judge these rounds, because they both have these solid moments of combination punching.
Absolutely right, Paulie. I agree with you. And there's, on the inside, Badou Jack doing some excellent work. That was where poor Arthur McCanty Jr. got hit with that right hand. Badou Jack did not mean to do that.
He stunned him. Punch of the fight.
Left hand.
Arthur the Trooper, though, he's back out for the next round.
Hey, he showed his toughness.
He wasn't going to get stopped between rounds.
Sixth round underway here at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Southpaw James DeGale against Badou Jack. Jack in the gold and black. DeGale in the white black with red trim.
Oh, nice counter. Sharp
counter. A nice left hook by Badou Jack.
Starting to get to the point where anything you can do, I can do better. And both of these guys are responding to each other.
This fight's really heating up in an interesting way. The big question is going to be whether DeGale can stand and fight with him. Badou Jack's been very effective in the last couple of rounds at landing very precise, good power punches on the inside.
Here's one thing I don't understand about DeGale. He's very adept at killing certain little moments in the round. With taking a couple of steps here, taking a couple of steps there, and then working only the moments he needs to win the rounds. But instead, he almost chooses to start to try to fight too much. It's almost like he doesn't like to be walked down, so he's saying, you know what, you want to walk me down? I'm going to punch more. And it's going into Jack's wheelhouse when he does that.
Here are the show stats. Total punches landed round by round. Jack with a slight edge over DeGale.
And remember, it is round by round. And remember, there was a knockdown in the first round for DeGale, which makes it a 10-8 round.
DeGale not off to his trademark quick start in this fight when you look at his punch output.
No, he's not. He's only thrown. He's thrown a few less punches than Jack in this fight.
Right hook behind the guard by DeGale.
DeGale goes to right-handed now.
Right hand lands again for DeGale. Back to southpaw. Final minute of the sixth round. Scheduled for 12, 168-pound title unification fight, just the 8th in the division's history. Nice body shot by Badou Jack, the Ripper.
And goes back to the left hook to the body there. And those are the shots that will slow a guy down. And for a guy like DeGale, who's dependent a lot on that movement, it's going to make the second half of the fight very interesting. Oh,
Jack just caught him with that uppercut. And a good round for Badou Jack, who has DeGale on the ropes now. Figuratively, but not literally, because it's DeGale rolling with those shots and avoiding them, but caught that right hand and a jab.
Oh, hard body shot underneath by Jack.
So Badou Jack with a barrage on James DeGale here in round 6. But DeGale still throwing at the end of the round.
Good action. This fight living up to it now.
Is doing.
Yeah, and DeGale's athleticism is an advantage he has. But how you negate that? You can move your head left to right, up and down, and make the guy miss, but the body will always be there. So if you can slow the guy's legs down, he's not going to be able to get away from the body shots.
We're at the halfway point of this WBC IBF Super Middleweight Unification bout. Scheduled for 12 rounds. Badou Jack with that sweeping right hand. Oh, nice combination. Sharp combo by Jack.
I tell you, I got James DeGale's attention.
Bringing in Showtime's unofficial scorer, Steve Farhood. How do you have it after 6, Steve?
Well, Jack has the momentum right now. I have DeGale ahead. The challenge for the judges, Jack's punches are very short and crisp. DeGale's are longer, easier for the judges to see. Also, DeGale's punches, a lot of them partly blocked or deflected by Jack. Judges have to weigh that when they consider who wins a round. I have DeGale ahead. Jack seems to be coming on.
There's Jack now trying to put DeGale on his back foot. DeGale using body movement along the ropes, but Jack going to the body.
And the movement for DeGale is to try to limit the spots Jack picks to fight.
Oh, Good combination being delivered by James DeGale, so the action heating up to kick off the second half of this championship affair.
And that's the point of the movement. You kill the spots to fight until you want to fight, and then you step in and you fight. Does DeGale have the legs to consistently do this throughout the fight?
Short and left uppercut on the inside landed for DeGale.
Ironically, even though DeGale has the only knockdown in this fight, Badou Jack seems the more powerful puncher.
But it was DeGale landing a combination and avoiding, just staying out of range of that attack by Badou Jack. Left hand right down the middle by DeGale, but good counter right on the inside there by Badou Jack.
After he'd done the catch and shoot with his own right hand before that.
Well, this is becoming an action fight, and both men throwing lots of punches and a lot of good punches.
Yeah, I tell you, DeGale's starting to go back to the body as well.
And he is a good body puncher, and he got away from that a little bit.
DeGale switching stances.
And here, right here is where Jack looks to walk down DeGale. DeGale throws a combination, and then needs to take a breather. And Jack's starting to realize it. He tries to jump on him.
There again, the hand speed of James DeGale on display. Going upstairs and downstairs. Right uppercut on the inside by DeGale.
Finding the creative angles.
And the body work done a moment ago by DeGale was very impressive.
DeGale used to showing more angles than a geometry class in the final seconds of the 7th round, with the action heating up here in Brooklyn, New York.
And their reactions seen to the world.
Suck it up, kid. Let's go.
DeGale in round number 8. Lucien Boutte is one of 4 common opponents that Badou Jack and James DeGale have. He said that this would be a very close fight, maybe even a draw, but he gives the slightest of edges to DeGale based on speed, ability, and the southpaw stance. But we're seeing Jack now come on in the second half of this fight. And a right uppercut scores for Badou Jack. And a nice 1-2 there by Jack.
I'll tell you that. He's starting a little bit.
DeGale has never been down in his career.
DeGale's mouthpiece is out.
And DeGale scraped on the ropes by Jack. Nice pivot by DeGale. But back on the ropes again. Badou Jack has hurt James DeGale here in round 8.
I tell you, Jack now let him off the hook. DeGale with no mouthpiece.
Why is Ivan McCarthy?
Because he got away for a long
time. He could have gone in and done that.
What DeGale should do is hold, though. DeGale should close a clinch and create that wall himself. McCarthy's got blood on his face. Look at McCarthy's face.
Been a tough night in the office for Hartman McCarthy.
See, there it is. As soon as DeGale clinched, he got a break.
And Badou Jack will try to resume his momentum.
Oh, sharp uppercut.
Jack attacking the body.
And the body shot.
DeGale missing upstairs.
Get them up, bro.
And again, the investment to the body, always hoping that it will pay dividends the longer this fight goes out.
And James DeGale now feeling almost that he has to fight on the inside and do something with power, but that makes him more vulnerable to all this from Jack.
And a left uppercut and a left hook by Badou Jack finds its mark, and another left hook.
The real estate of this fight is not where James DeGale should have it. I mean, some of those body shots look like Jack is punching through James DeGale.
Looks like they're fighting in a New York size department. Final minute of the 8th.
This is not tactically the fight DeGale wants right now.
And a right hand connects. It's all Badou Jack here in the 8th round.
What a fight, guys. DeGale will have none of it. He continues to try to walk Jack down.
But he gets caught again with a left hook, and while he throws punches, not a lot of steam on them. And he has a mouse on the corner of his left eye, does James DeGale.
There's that sneaky uppercut from DeGale.
Small hematoma.
I'll tell you, when DeGale fights in spots is when he's fighting his best. When he's laying inside, he's giving Jack the opportunity.
You know, the uppercut, I think, momentarily stopped Badou Jack's momentum.
Or Jack might have just punched himself out.
Yeah, true, yeah.
And DeGale trying to send judges a message with a flourish, but I thought that was a great round for Badou Jack.
Huge round for Badou Jack.
With another approach, especially from the outside out.
That is so true. Yeah, you'll never see that combination for another 25 or 30 fights.
Doctor checking out.
Oh, and Badou Jack looking to explode here at the beginning of round 9. WBC champion in the camouflage and gold. Meanwhile, the IBF 168-pound champion James DeGale in the white with black and orange. And he's now coming forward on the inside.
James DeGale, he has a big heart, and he is a champion who wants to win. So as hurt as he has been by Badou Jack, look at him come back.
Let's bring in our unofficial Showtime scorer, Steve Farhood.
Mo, I'm going to say the same thing I said last time he brought me in. Jack has all the momentum. I still have DeGale ahead on the cards. 3rd and 5th rounds with swings, and I gave them both to DeGale. That's probably why I had him ahead. Who knows, that knockdown in the 1st round could end up being the difference.
Yeah, I think Steve and I always agree on everything, but I would respectfully disagree. I think a couple of those rounds would have gone to Jack, and I think I might score it a little differently.
You're showing a few different wrinkles to kick off the new year, Mr. Bernstein. I like it.
I'll tell you, I'm torn in between, man, because I can see both of you guys being right. I could easily see Badou having those rounds, and of course I can see Steve's point of view as well.
Badou Jack backing DeGale up momentarily. You're not that diplomatic on your podcast, are you, Mr.
No, Brooklyn to the world is not very diplomatic at all.
90 seconds left in the 9th, and James DeGale attacking Badou Jack, but again, a lot of those shots bouncing off the gloves of Badou Jack.
But you know what? James DeGale's had a very good round here. And a comeback round for him after being hurt badly.
Even psychologically to show Jack that I'm here fighting after the round you just had for yourself. You know, it's making a stand essentially.
Yeah.
Final 60 seconds of the 9th. A war of attrition between the two top-ranked 168-pounders on the planet, both champions, both wanting to unify the titles. DeGale's mouthpiece has fallen out again.
And he spit it out that time, man.
So
might be some fatigue.
Holly accusing Mr. DeGale of expectorating the mouthpiece, but DeGale going to work on Jack's body.
He's probably figuring he breathes better without it in his mouth. I mean, DeGale's a sick kid. I mean, he's liable to think like that.
Lead right hand by Jack scores. They are both enjoying moments of success here in round 9.
I tell you, Jack even counters to the body well. I tell you, when you're fatigued, though, missing shots is like the worst feeling in the world. You hate wasting shots by missing them when you're tired. Keep it in there for your teeth, for the sake of your teeth. But maybe in the moment, he's so in the spirit of the moment that he wants to breathe better and able to throw more punches.
11:30 here on the East Coast, 8:30 Pacific, and we welcome those of you who are just joining us as the New England Patriots beat the Houston Texans 34-16 in the NFL playoffs. You're watching Badou Jack and James DeGale try to beat the, well, you know what out of each other in this 168-pound title unification bout.
And in the 1st round, James DeGale had Badou Jack down. Since then, has been a back-and-forth affair with Jack gaining the momentum now.
Oh,
sharp left hand.
DeGale catches him with that left coming in.
That was the same left hand that dropped Jack in round 1.
And yes, to give you an update on what has transpired, back in round 1, Badou Jack went down for the 3rd time in his career, but they have both engaged in an epic, titanic struggle since, and now James DeGale, who has faded in the past in the second half of his fights, seems to have caught a second win.
And it's really about using your legs, how he's doing here,
to pick the spots you can fight in. And Jack doesn't want.
But Jack has him on the ropes, Paul.
Exactly. Jack's job is basically to cut off that movement so that you're forcing DeGale to fight when he doesn't want to fight.
Jack goes downstairs. DeGale goes upstairs. Jack counters with a right. Look at this exchange.
Exchange is right, man.
Stop pushing. A minute and a half remaining in the 10th.
I think the big difference with Badou Jack in recent fights has been he simply isn't hit as much as he was early in his career. He's a better defensive fighter. Not everything lands. And we saw the body work by Badou Jack just a moment ago.
It's also great hand positioning.
Yes. This is living up to and exceeding expectations. The 8th super middleweight title unification fight in history. DeGale catches Badou Jack upstairs.
That got Jack's attention.
That's the best delivered right hook that DeGale's had in this fight. He's been slapping with that punch. It was a very close round.
Lead right uppercut by Badou Jack has DeGale on the ropes momentarily. Trying to maintain some distance, and Jack pivoting, or make that DeGale pivots back to the center of the ring. Nice feint by Jack before scoring with a right hand to the body.
Tell you what, Jack could be doing better for himself is cutting the ring off. As DeGale circles it to get those rests.
Exactly, Paulie, and DeGale attacks the body again. Final 15 seconds of this 10th round. Chopping right hand misses by Jack. Short right hands to the body by Badou Jack.
And that was the really good right hook that he landed during the round. Yet another mouthpiece issue, as the mouthpiece almost does in fact come out. So that's been a recurring problem for DeGale.
So if he keeps losing it, he's a cut in his mouth. If he keeps losing it, McCann takes a point. He's going to lose the point that he got.
Exactly.
The extra point he got for the knockdown in round 1.
So we enter the championship rounds. WBC 168-pound champion Badou Jack and the IBF 168-pound champion James DeGale. Mauro Ranallo, Al Bernstein, Paulie Malignaggi at ringside.
And I think this fight is going to be a very difficult one to score because there are a number of close rounds. Then there are some that are real obvious, and the ones that Jack wins, he wins bigger.
Oh, that was on the belt. DeGale leaning in.
So if you're saying the close ones, you're giving to DeGale, Al.
If they do, yeah, then it'll be close.
Right hand scores for Jack. Cuffing right hook by James DeGale. Back and forth he goes from orthodox to southpaw.
Ludo Val, Badou Jack's trainer in the corner, former light heavyweight world champion, was stressing in the corner. Couldn't stress it enough to finish with the left hook.
Clever work in the corner of James DeGale. They picked up that mouthpiece that fell down so that Mercanti Jr. wouldn't see it and make a point deduction.
Just past the midpoint of this, the penultimate round here at Barclays Center. DeGale backing up along the ropes, trying to bait Jack in. Jack attacking the body, counter left from DeGale.
And this is another one of those rounds that you could see starting to go either way.
Yeah, you know, when DeGale gives enough movement, there's enough lulls in the rounds to where you can't really pick a definitive winner of the round. When DeGale's paused for enough spots.
There's that blistering hand speed, but it's the punch was the left hook from Jack that was the most eye-catching.
And that's the thing. It's the eye-catching shots when they're both planted usually go to Jack.
And another left hook by Badou Jack as DeGale leans in.
DeGale's landed 2 or 3 really good uppercuts, though, in the last 45 seconds. So both men landed some very good shots.
Jack's punch is starting to look fatigued as well.
Yes.
I mean, we are around 11 of a very paced fight.
Something tells me they're going to plant their feet in round 12, just like they're doing here in the center of the ring in round 11.
Both of these guys flex home tomorrow. They're going to be sore.
Jack attacking the body. DeGale again, looking for the 1-2 upstairs.
And apparently James DeGale has also lost a tooth in this fight, we've been told.
Why not?
You lose your mouthpiece enough times, it could happen. Wow.
So here we are, the crowd at Barclays Center on their feet, the 12th and final round of this super middleweight title unification bout. James DeGale's cut man, Kerry Stewart, working on the cut under his right eye. Badou Jack trying to take control of the center of the ring.
DeGale's been 12 rounds 8 times, he's 7-1. Jack has been 12 rounds 3 times, he's 2-0-1.
Badou Jack, James DeGale, both exhibiting the fact that a loss on your record does not have to be the death knell of your career, Al, and both have overcome adversity and putting on one hell of a fight here tonight, Paulie, to unify the 168-pound titles.
Yeah, I'll go one further. The loser of this fight is not going to lose stock in my eyes, and he better not lose stock in the eyes of the people or the media, because both of these guys have fought an A-level fight.
And we should mention that Badou Jack says he wants to move up to 175 pounds for his next fight.
And he's talked about facing the likes of Andre Ward, who of course used to rule the roost at 168.
Or Adonis Stevenson.
Or Adonis Stevenson. Callum Smith, the undefeated.
Big uppercut.
It's down for the first time in his career. What drama here in round 12.
5, 6, 7, 8. Look at me. Look at me.
And when you're fatigued, he's got to hold.
Walk to me. Walk that way. Walk that way. Walk that way.
Badou Jack down in round 1. James DeGale down in round 12.
Oh. Big uppers.
And Badou Jack scraping the body of DeGale, launching the right hands. Badou Jack trying to close the show in style.
DeGale is a hold. I don't know why he's not holding. There he goes.
And a long time left to go in this round.
And DeGale desperately needs to hold as Badou Jack firing away.
Now we realize
Now that he's realized, you're right, Paulie. Final minute of the 12th. Big drama in the Big Apple. And it's Badou Jack.
I tell you, these uppercuts are vicious because DeGale's instinct is to duck down to get away from the onslaught, and then Jack picks him back up with the uppercut.
And Badou Jack making a statement here in the final round now. DeGale along the ropes. The mouthpiece is on again. Badou Jack. Final 30 seconds. Badou Jack, born in Sweden, represented his native, the Gambia, in the Olympics. James DeGale, Olympic gold medalist at those same games. And what a fight here tonight at Barclays. Who will emerge as unified super middleweight champion? DeGale coming back. Wow! Mamma mia!
Hell of a fight.
Wow, he's
A
right.
fight worthy of two champions facing each other.
That was a war. That's a war.
And one fought at a high level as well, and this crowd rises to its feet to show their appreciation. Remember, two knockdowns in this fight. First round, DeGale scored one. The last round, Jack scored one. That kind of evens it up at 2 10-8 rounds. So everything that happened in between is how this fight will be decided.
And as a fellow fighter, just humbling to watch these guys fight such a violent fight, but such, you know, a lot of times violent fights are not very highly skilled fights. It was such a violent fight, but such a highly skilled fight. And just as a fighter myself, I'm just humbled to watch that type of action between these two guys.
Hey guys, it's only January 14th already tonight here in Brooklyn. Not one, but two fight of the year candidates, and boy, oh boy, Badou Jack and James DeGale, you hate to see one of them walk out a loser out, but it's going to be a tough one to score.
A very difficult one to score because all those rounds in between, you see Ludo Val hoping his man did enough to ultimately win this fight. And we'll take a look at the action in that last round, which there was a knockdown. The left hook hurt him, then the right hand got James DeGale and sent him down. There's another one. What if he had another 40 seconds? Would he have hurt Badou Jack? We don't know. But it was excellent.
As it should be with, again, the two best at 168 and delivering the goods.
That's the thing, Mo. Sometimes guys are so skilled that they end up fighting very defensive fights. You don't always get a fight between this magnitude level of fighters that lives up to the hype. Because sometimes they're so good that they don't get hit like that.
Look at the punches landed round by round and the edge in favor of Badou Jack.
Right, and you know, these fights are scored by round by round. Of course, that's the Showstat interpretation of it, and the judges may be seeing it differently, but for Badou Jack in that regard, gets the edge, and there's no question that man, Badou Jack, landed the cleaner, bigger punches for the most part in this fight, but James DeGale was very active, and it's a question of who did what in each round.
Right, Alan, watching with vested interest, Liverpool and Callum Smith, undefeated, a mandatory challenger for the WBC title as we look at the show stats.
Yeah, and you see that, you know, in terms of accuracy, they were close to the same. More punches thrown by Jack. Now, that's a surprise. James DeGale, most people felt if he was going to win this fight, he was going to have to be more active. And I think when you look at that number thrown, which we know is a definitive number, then you have to say to yourself...
Over 1,350 punches they combined for, Al. All right, well... we are set to find out who is going to walk away as the unified super middleweight champion. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. Here are our totals. Judge at ringside, Glenn Feldman, scores about 114 to 112 in favor of James DeGale. Judges at ringside, Julie Letterman and Steve Weisfeld, both scored about 113 to 113, even a draw. The decision is a majority draw. Both champions retain their belts.
Well, maybe not a popular decision, but can I hear rematch?
Well, you know what? I feel like it would have been a shame for one of these guys to leave the ring tonight, not a champion. I mean, I'm almost happy. You know, usually you're disappointed with a draw. I'm happy both of these guys get to leave the ring tonight as a world champion.
Let's go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much. Let's start with you, Badou. What is your assessment of this fight and the draw?
He was doing a lot of running. He was throwing a lot of shit on my guard. I thought I won the fight. I finished stronger. And the knockdown, his knockdown was a flash knockdown. No excuses, but...
Did that come back, obviously, to haunt you, that first round, that 10-8?
Maybe, but I won the fight.
Don't listen to me rubbish. Listen, I've got huge respect for this man. He's showed he's tough, he's durable, he's skillful. You the man. I thought I won that. It was only the knock.
You think you won?
Yeah. By the way,
why?
What do?
I know.
Give me Skimmy, Soldier, look at he. So, it's a bridge, it's a bridge, it's a bridge. But no, it's a bridge. Don't worry, I'm still pretty.
Why do you feel you won the fight?
I thought the cleanest shots. He said he was going to outbox me. I was moving my feet, picking his head off. But listen, let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Well, let's do it again at light heavyweight.
No, never wait. But it don't matter. I'm going to take over anyway. You know what I'm saying? Whatever he does. But I'm saying we can...
You fight again at 168?
If it's a rematch, yeah.
We're the best two super middleweights in the world. I'm going home next. Come to London, please. I'll pay you. See Eddie? Eddie, come here. We pay you.
You're upset with the... Let's talk about the end of the fight first, then we'll bring in Floyd and Eddie. The end of the fight, clearly...
He hurt, no.
He hurt you.
No,
knocked you down for the first time.
Yeah. Well, he hit me, but I was more off balance. I've got to watch it back. But I was kind of hurt. But I've got to give him respect. I've always respected him. He's a good all-round fighter, I'll say. But listen, skills pay the bills. You see the skills. I'm willing to do it again. But all respect to him, man. Trust me. Where's my belt? Where's my beer?
You gonna do it again?
Huh?
Do it again?
It's time to move light heavyweight.
Floyd, why not fight again at 168?
Badou Jack has got too big for the 168 pound. We had plans on after this fight, moving up to light heavyweight. This is the second time in a row Badou Jack has got a bad decision.
But this was a good fight. This was a great fight. So there's a lot of disappointment because both guys feel that they won. But this was a tremendous, tremendous fight.
He didn't win the WBC.
You know that.
James DeGale is a hell of a fighter. But tonight, he didn't win. I respect him as a fighter, but Badou Jack was the better man tonight, but James DeGale is one hell of a fighter.
Don't do this shit. I'm the man. It was a draw. Don't do this rubbish.
What's it going to take? Hold on. What's it going to take to have these two guys settle it in the ring and fight again?
Let's go again. You don't want it. Let's go again.
He wants to do it again. You want to do it again?
I'll fight anybody.
Figure it out. Figure it out, guys.
We don't need to figure it out. I'm the promoter. This is my fighter. This is the second time this happened. 2 times in a row.
Third time. The judges didn't score a 10-8 round. He got hit in the first round. The judges did what they had to do, what they saw in front of them, Floyd.
It's all about being fair. At the end of the day, a lot of times, I don't know what the judges be looking at. When I fought Oscar De La Hoya, one of the judges had him up by unanimous decision. When I fought Canelo, one of the judges had him winning. This is bad for boxing when it's all said and done. This is really bad for boxing.
But this was a good night for boxing. Floyd, thank you. It was a great night for boxing. Eddie, hopefully we'll see it again. You got one final thought?
Ed, come, say that.
Let's do it again. Let's do it again. It's a great fight. Great fight.
All right. More confusion. Morrow, back to you.
Jim, thank you so very much. And regardless of what we just heard, Paulie, it was a great
It was an awesome fight. What a great fight. But it's not as simple as Jim is saying when you just get it figured out. Because when somebody can't make weight, believe me, when you can't make weight, it is suffering day in, day out, night in, night out. At the end of training camp, you become almost a different fighter if you force your body down there one too many times.
All right, there's the official scores. Again, Glenn Feldman had it 114-112 in favor of James DeGale. Julie Letterman, Steve Weisfeld had it even at 113 apiece. We bring in our unofficial Showtime scores, Steve Farhood. Steve, how'd you have it?
Mo, I had a 113-113, same as 2 of the judges. The judges agreed on 7 of the 12 rounds. Symmetry there because DeGale won the first round 10-8, Badou won the 12th round 10-8. The significance of that, if Badou doesn't win the 12th round by 2 points, DeGale wins a unanimous decision.
And then the first round knockdown would have been what cost Jack in the fight.
Exactly.
Jack had to even up on the knockdowns.
Exactly right, Paulie.
Well, it's been a tremendous start to 2017 on Showtime Championship Boxing. We had a 22-year-old by the name of Gervonta Davis in his first shot at a title, defeat Jose Pedraza to become a 130-pound champion, and unfinished business in the super middleweight title unification fight, but a terrific battle. Let's go to Brian Custer.
All right, Mo, thank you very, very much. And listen, that was one heck of a battle between James DeGale and Badou Jack. You know, I'm under the thinking as you take a look at Badou, I thought he really came on, especially in the second half of the fight. I thought maybe he squeaked this one out. That was just my opinion, especially the way I thought he dominated the second half. You saw how the judges scored the fight. Hey, you tweeted us your results at Showtime Boxing on Twitter. Take a look at this. By the slimmest of margins, you thought Badou Jack won this fight. 51% of you gave it to Badou Jack. 49% of you gave the win to James DeGale. Hopefully they can find a way and do this thing all over again. One quick reminder, you can head to Showtime Boxing on Facebook for exclusive coverage, plus the post-fight press conference from here at Barclays Center. Stay with us. We'll recap the night in just a moment, but first, here's what's coming up from Showtime.
Law enforcement needs to stop harassing and beating family.